Hello, I'm Nicole. I'm excited to share my experiences and insights from our recent trip to Bhutan. The purpose of this presentation is to reflect on the key learnings gained during the tour, focusing on environmental sustainability, cultural observations, and economic development. The trip was significant for me as it provided a unique opportunity to explore Bhutan's commitment to gross national happiness and how it integrates with environmental policies and community well-being. My aim was to understand how these principles can inform my work in environmental advocacy and community engagement back home in Australia. One of the most striking aspects of Bhutan is its commitment to gross national happiness as a key measure of development, integrating environmental policies with community well-being. Throughout our discussions, Bhutanese speakers expressed immense pride in this philosophy, truly believing in its potential to shape a sustainable future. Upon landing in Paro, I was greeted by the crisp mountain air and breathtaking views of the Himalayas that showcase Bhutan's natural beauty. The sense of awe I experienced while admiring those majestic mountains throughout this trip is something I hope to carry with me. I wish for these landscapes to remain forever pristine. During our study, we learned about the Gellifu Mindfulness City, an ambitious project aiming to integrate sustainability into urban development while promoting community engagement. It seeks to create an environment where residents are actively involved in decision-making related to environmental policies. The King has expressed hope that this initiative will help Bhutanese living abroad reconnect with their roots and contribute to their communities back home. There are high hopes among local farmers that the development of the Mindfulness City will open new sales channels for their agricultural products. According to a recent article, there's optimism among local farmers regarding this potential economic benefit, highlighting the interconnectedness of community initiatives and local livelihoods. However, while the project has commendable goals and promises potential benefits for local farmers, I still have concerns regarding its impact on existing communities. I noted in my journal that these concerns were not directly addressed during our discussions. As Bhutan develops these initiatives, it's crucial to consider how they might affect local populations who have lived in these areas for generations. Farmers rate the lowest in Bhutan's GNH surveys, and the risk of displacement raises important questions about fairness and access to resources. I hope that the balance between development and preserving local livelihoods is acknowledged. We learnt about waste management through Greenaway, focus on municipal solid waste collection with community involvement. They've made significant strides in waste segregation and recycling, but still face challenges with hazardous and residual waste. Karma noted that despite international treaties on hazardous waste, some areas lack honesty in reporting. This brings to mind Australia's own struggles with waste management. Despite initiatives like the 10-cent bottle scheme, we still face significant issues with plastic waste, microplastics, and other associated waste like nutrient runoff, which pollute our waterways. I wonder, should the focus also be on producing less waste rather than on waste management?
Excuse me, don't eat that. He's actually eating plastic.
We need to move away from the plastic dependence and think about how things were done before its inception. The same can be said for Bhutan too, rather than placing so much emphasis on waste collection and management. I was deeply impressed by Bhutan's commitment to preserving its unique identity. This dedication is reflected not only in cultural practices, but also in the spiritual beliefs that underpin them. The Bhutanese people have a profound emotional connection to the mountains, which they believe are inhabited by deities. This belief influences their approach to development, with strict regulations preventing construction above certain altitudes to protect these sacred sites. Such spiritual connections enhance their commitment to sustainability and underscore the importance of protecting their natural heritage. There's a profound respect for the King that permeated all discussions. He emphasizes community involvement and often interacts openly with the public before launching new initiatives like the Mindfulness City. However, I would love to hear more perspectives from younger generations as they navigate their roles in a democracy. This leads me to reflect on Australia's cultural identity, which has been significantly impacted by colonisation. Many Indigenous voices have been marginalised, and efforts to revive cultural practices often meet resistance. With this, I feel like we've also lost spiritual connections to the land. Bhutan's strong sense of identity and community cohesion offers valuable lessons on the importance of cultural and environmental preservation. On day 4, we discuss how Bhutan balances tradition with modernity. Francis pointed out that globalization and social media can actually reinforce cultural practices rather than diminish them. In fact, there's been a revival of religious practices due to social media's influence, which I found surprising.
Just teaching, and people go in drove for this teaching. You know, when you go and see a lama, you have to give some offerings. Now they have the money to give also.
However, other speakers noted the potential disastrous impacts of social media, particularly TikTok, raising concerns about superficial values overshadowing meaningful cultural engagement. The government's considering regulations to address these challenges while embracing positive aspects, much like what our own government's trying to do. During the Women in Politics talk, I was struck by Dilmaya's passion for empowerment and her candid reflections on gender roles in Bhutanese society. However, insights from throughout all discussions on women's roles revealed both progress and challenges. Observing women's participation in sports, particularly archery, challenged my perceptions of gender equality. While women have traditionally cheered and served drinks during events, they were previously not allowed to compete at all. This duality raises questions about how societal expectations shape opportunities for women and how these perceptions influence home and work life. Bhutan's unique position as a landlocked and uncolonized nation has allowed it to develop at its own pace, learning from the mistakes of other developed countries. The king envisions a non-corrupt democracy that prioritizes sustainable growth over rapid development driven by fear of being left behind. Bhutan's vulnerability to climate change is particularly evident in the fragile ecological zones of the Himalayas, where temperatures are rising 3 times faster than the global average. As Bhutan navigates these complex challenges, particularly with hydropower as a key economic driver, it must carefully consider how new economic strategies align with its commitments to sustainability and cultural values. The recent cryptocurrency investments raise concerns about potential environmental impacts. This choice seems contradictory for a nation that prides itself on eco-awareness. Bhutan contains delicate ecological zones with incredible biodiversity. But its adaptive capacity is low. I worry about the cumulative environmental impacts that may not yet be fully understood. While we can measure rising temperatures and changing seasons, what are the factors that are difficult or impossible to quantify? Tourism is also a main source of income. Their model emphasizes high-value, low-volume strategies aimed at preserving the environment while simultaneously promoting economic benefits. This contrasts to mass tourism models seen in places like Bali, where they struggle with waste management due to high tourism volume. Countries like Indonesia visibly suffer from the adverse effects of tourism on their ecosystems and local communities, and it's clear that no local community would want to follow this path. Perhaps Australia could learn valuable lessons from Bhutan's example. Economic limitations appear to be a significant issue, rippling through various sectors, from civil society organisations to waste management. However, Bhutan is exploring the concept of G&H 2.0, which places a stronger emphasis on economic growth. This evolving perspective reflects the necessity for Bhutan to adapt its approach in response to contemporary challenges, while remaining true to its foundational principles of happiness and well-being. Dean Sencho's observation regarding the relationship between GDP and happiness, indicating that they're only aligned to a certain extent, shows the importance of balancing economic growth with environmental sustainability. While economic development is undeniably important, it shouldn't come at the cost of cultural values and ecological integrity. I worry that in the pursuit of economic growth, essential aspects of Bhutanese culture and its commitment to environmental stewardship may be compromised. As I reflect on these learnings back home, a culture deeply entrenched in consumerism and fast-paced living, I recognize the urgent need for a holistic shift towards prioritizing community well-being alongside environmental protection. As I reflect on my journey in Bhutan, one significant aspect has been my personal growth. Overcoming challenges such as public speaking anxiety was pivotal in helping me build confidence. The consistent exposure through morning reflections and Q&A sessions provided me opportunities to help alleviate my fear, allowing me to grow more comfortable expressing my thoughts. Numerous emotional moments impacted me deeply. Listening to former parliamentarian Dil Meyer speak about women's empowerment was particularly inspiring. Her passion made me proud to be a woman in that moment. One major insight from my trip was the importance of storytelling in advocacy. The eloquence of Bhutanese speakers inspired me to improve my communication skills, which are crucial for effective environmental advocacy. I admired their knowledge and how seamlessly their expertise flowed through various topics. The farewell dinner left me feeling connected to my group and the speakers. I was blown away by the traditional songs and dances, with Shewong providing background on their meanings. As I noted in my journal, this may have been one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had. This trip has profoundly influenced my career goals in environmental advocacy and community engagement. I find myself at a crossroads between pursuing marine biology and sustainable development, as both areas are intrinsically connected. My experiences have illuminated the interconnectedness of economic, environmental, and social issues, showing that focusing on only one aspect can negatively impact others. Integrating sustainability into marine conservation is essential, and I believe I can pursue both paths by adopting a holistic mentality.
Nicole, we were saying, like, if you had a boogie board, you could just slide on down this.
Witnessing the dedication of the Bhutanese people in preserving their environment motivated me to do more through my small business, Be Kind Tribe. I aim to raise awareness about local conservation issues through education, to build community connections and appreciation for nature. I aspire to organise workshops and field days in the future that actively involve people in science, such as surveying local marine species like the Swan River water rat, an animal many may not know even exists. They are very cute. In Phobjika, I realised the importance of protecting entire ecosystems rather than focusing on individual species. While the black-necked crane holds cultural significance in Bhutan, its habitat supports countless other organisms. The lack of attention given to the white-naped crane, despite its vulnerable status, raises important questions about conservation priorities. By prioritising habitat preservation, we can ensure that all species can thrive together, creating a balanced environment that benefits both wildlife and local communities. My experiences highlight the cultural significance of nature in conservation efforts, with the integration of local knowledge forming strategies for more effective outcomes. Inspired by G&H, I aim to apply similar approaches in marine conservation by developing strategies that not only protect marine ecosystems, but also support the livelihoods of coastal communities. Through my volunteering with Ruambi Landcare, I've begun building connections between communities and environmental protection. The collaborative spirit I observed in Bhutan reinforces my belief that effective environmental advocacy requires engaging communities and integrating local knowledge into conservation strategies. I hope to further involve the community in meaningful ways, fostering a sense of ownership and responsibility towards natural resources while empowering individuals to take active roles in conservation. Initially, I expected to learn about Bhutan's unique culture with a bit of environmental management in there, but I was unprepared for this rich tapestry of cultural insights that were intricately intertwined with environmental connections. From the moment I arrived, it became clear that Bhutan's identity is deeply rooted in its relationship with nature. The stunning landscapes, from majestic mountains to lush valleys, are not just backdrops, they are integral to the Bhutanese way of life. One realization that struck me was how climate change is a global issue requiring collaboration across borders. Bhutan is sandwiched between two of the largest emitters of greenhouse gases, making it vulnerable to external environmental impacts.
So therefore, 51% of Bhutan's total land again remains under protected areas, wildlife protected areas. 51% of the total land mass. It's a huge. In doing so, we are also sacrificing our economic benefits also. So with this protection, it comes with economic burden,
Despite its efforts to maintain ecological balance, Bhutan cannot tackle these challenges alone. The country already feels the repercussions of poor air quality from India, highlighting the urgent need for collective action with neighbouring countries to achieve effective climate change mitigation. I also witnessed the importance of mindfulness. This trip has shown me that being present can lead to deeper connections and more effective environmental conservation efforts. In Australia, we often operate on autopilot, disconnected from what truly matters, our relationship with nature and each other.
Okay, all right.
I feel strongly that if we foster a deeper connection with our surroundings, we are more likely to advocate for their protection. For example, our morning hikes not only allowed us to appreciate Bhutan's breathtaking scenery, but also provided opportunities for meaningful conversations about our experiences and feelings towards nature. These moments of connection reinforce my belief in the power of mindfulness in advocating for environmental stewardship. In conclusion, these experiences have absolutely shaped my personal growth and professional aspirations. Despite being a country surrounded by mountains rather than seawater, I recognise that our approaches at home often prioritise one pillar of sustainability, typically the economics, at the expense of environmental and social considerations. Understanding the interconnectedness of marine biology with policy, economics and community development will be essential as I pursue honours or postgrad studies. I see the value of incorporating Indigenous knowledge into my work to enrich conservation efforts, and also the importance of integrating mindfulness into both my personal life and career pursuits to build deeper connections with nature and the community.
I don't like Spy. It's so bad though.
I am beyond grateful for the opportunity to learn from the Bhutanese people and their sustainability commitments. Their dedication has inspired me to promote similar principles in my work, focusing on initiatives that protect marine ecosystems while addressing social and economic needs. We need more people looking at the bigger picture. As we all advance in our respective careers, I hope we remember the significance of cultural exchange and collaboration in achieving sustainable practices. How can we embrace diverse perspectives to create a future where both people and nature thrive? By working together, we can make meaningful strides towards this goal. This experience will forever have an impact on my personal and professional life. Thank you for this opportunity.